UK officials are being warned of a possible record year of Channel migrant crossings in 2024 after a huge surge in illegal migrants entering the European Union.
Yes, small boat crossings this year reached 29,498. That's a 35% reduction on last year. Despite UK government claims that its stop-the-boat policies are working, sources have actually told GB News that they're bracing for the arrival of some of the many thousands who have entered Europe illegally in recent months. Our Home and Security editor, Mark White, reports.
The Prime Minister has pledged to stop the boats, and the numbers crossing the Channel this year have reduced. But in truth, every time weather conditions allow, the people smugglers push these small boats into the water. And around 30,000 people still made the crossing this year, only adding to the migrant crisis. In the camps scattered across northern France, thousands are still waiting for their weather window, for the chance to reach the UK. And sources have told us they'll be joined by thousands of others in the months ahead. Some of the huge influx of migrants who crossed into Europe in recent months. I mean, this one's still got its air in it, so it just tells you that this boat ran aground really within recent weeks. We reported earlier in the year from the Italian island of Lampedusa, where tens of thousands of migrants arrived in boats from North Africa. Italy, Spain, Greece and multiple other European countries all saw massive increases in migrant arrivals this year. Many of those are still working their way north, and a significant proportion will try to cross the Channel. A key component of the UK government's Stop the Boat strategy is, of course, the Rwanda deal. Despite the conveyor belt of legal challenges, the government and many Conservative MPs are convinced that sending asylum seekers to the East African nation will help smash the people smugglers' business model.
The people who are dealing with the huge chaos in northern France say that as part of the suite of immigration policies, a deterrent is needed. Why is Austria looking at this? Why is Germany looking at this? Why is the US looking at this? Why is Italy looking at this? Because it is recognised in the world we live in that we have to have a deterrent.
Across the European Union, the bloc is still grappling with how best to stem the flow of illegal migrants, with some countries taking markedly different approaches. Analysts believe the human tide of arrivals will only continue to grow.
This is simply because Frontex, the organisation that's responsible for patrolling the EU's external borders, doesn't have enough resources, doesn't have enough boats, and there's a lack of coordination between other European countries. There's also an ideological divide within the EU itself.
2024 is a pivotal year for Rishi Sunak. He'll have to go to the country trying to convince the electorate that it's his policies which are key to controlling illegal migration. A quick and positive decision on Rwanda is needed, but even then, with thousands of migrants en route to northern France, it's likely Border Force officials will be busier than ever. Mark White, GB News.
Yes, well, are we all bracing ourselves for another record year of migrant arrivals? There's another really interesting story in the papers today as well about an ISIS fanatic who snuck into Britain illegally, who has now been given UK citizenship despite MI5 saying that he poses a terror threat. Specialist immigration lawyer Ivon Sampson joins us now. Ivon, thank you very much. Bright and early, my good man. I'm wishing you a very happy and early new year. Let's deal with first things first. So, do you think we're going to get another record year of migrant arrivals, illegal migrant arrivals?
Well, it slowed down this year because the government's done one successful policy, is reducing the number of Albanians coming across on the Channel, and that's gone down by some 90%. And the figures show that half of those crossing the Channel were from Albania. So I think there'll be, if you look at the Migration Observatory report on the trends over the next 5 to 10 years, I think you'll see the numbers around the 25,000 mark. We had a spike around 50,000, but as I said, because of the Albanian problem, but the government's got a handle on that and got an agreement with Albania to return successfully. They returned something like 90,000 Albanians. So I think you'll see the numbers sort of plateauing around 25,000 a year.
Ivon, we read with much concern, I don't know if you've seen this case yet, but in the papers this morning, the case of an ISIS fanatic who snuck into Britain illegally, now being given asylum here because supposedly his human rights could be under risk if he's sent back to Sudan. The balance surely is not right.
Well, Article 1F of the Refugee Convention prohibits anyone seeking protection if they have committed a criminal act or they're a terrorist. So the government could have refused him asylum on that basis. But it's about the evidence. I haven't seen the evidence about this case. So we've got to, reports about someone being a sympathiser, don't really know what the facts are. But if this person is a known terrorist, known to MI5 as terrorist, the Home Office can prohibit him from claiming asylum under Article 1F of the Refugee Convention.
Yeah, and the mind boggles, doesn't it? Very often when we talk, Ivon, it does appear that the law could actually be used for our benefit here, and remarkably is not. It's not always a question of, oh, our hands are completely tied. It's, oh, well, they could do this, and they're not necessarily doing it. But, Ivon, look, thank you very, very much for joining us, especially so early on. I wish you a very, very happy New Year, my good man. Ivon Sampson there, specialist immigration lawyer.